What's going on, everybody? John Impemba here with James Grande. This is the Fantasy Alarm NFL Game Day live stream for Week 12. Getting you all ready leading up till the 12 o'clock hour. We're going to bring you your inactives, any breaking news, and, of course, answer your start-sit questions. They are in our Discord. If you're watching right now, make sure you head over to the Discord, get in that live stream QA channel, and drop down your questions for James and I to break down. James, before we get into the nitty-gritty today, man, how you doing?
Good, man. Happy holidays to you and yours, and almost December. I can't believe we're in week 12 already. I feel like that's just the general consensus as we get like later in the season. It's like, wow, can't believe we're in week insert that week, but right. The season is flying by. Thankfully, an extra week of football this year, and thanks for having me on. And I'm excited to be here. Repping my squad here, John. But
yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised you were not embarrassed to wear that Giants jersey here on the stream. But I mean, listen, it's they made some changes, right? And that's something we can certainly talk about. They've made some changes now to their coaching staff. They fired Jason Garrett. They're having a divisional matchup today at home against Philadelphia. So if there's ever a turning point for this team, I guess it could be this week, and seeing how the offense develops. That being said, no Sterling Shepard, no Kadarius Toney likely in today's game, so they're going to be doing it a little bit shorthanded without probably their two best wide receivers. But this is an opportunity for guys who've maybe struggled this year to get going, whether it be maybe Kenny Golladay, who earlier this week said he would keep the comments to himself when asked about his lack of involvement on the offense to this point. We also had him making comments, basically about the connection and chemistry that he's had with Daniel Jones. So it's something to watch there. And of course, we have Evan Ingram, and it's quite possibly the best tight end matchup you could possibly find. Right? I mean, this is going up against the Eagles, who have allowed the most yards, receptions, touchdowns, fantasy points to the tight end position this year. Shout out to our guy, Andrew Cooper, who's actually going to the Patriots game today, which is why you're here on the stream with me today. But, he's been a big Ingram truther basically since he was born. So this is a great week for him to maybe get a little victory lap going. So definitely want to go ahead and get into the content, get into all the DFS content that we have out there right now. The playbook's live, the dartboard is live, all the coaches are live here, and start preparing for this week's fantasy football season. But James and I are here to certainly help you all out there. James, before we dip into the comments, again, if you're watching now, go to the Discord, go into the live stream QA channel here, and start getting some of your questions ready for us to answer and get you all ready for this upcoming week. But, James, what are some of the matchups maybe that you're taking a look at this week when it comes to lineups you're looking to build, DFS, seasonal? What's some of the highlights that you got going on right now?
I mean, I think for me, the prime matchup that I've been taking a look at and trying to get as many pieces in for DFS purposes is Minnesota, San Francisco. Two, kind of good-looking offenses right now, both getting healthy, especially the 49ers. They have all their weapons, and not even just health, I mean, just usage. Speaking of Brandon Ayuk back in the lineup and in the good graces. So, one of the best totals on the board, and you and I were talking, we talked about it last night, we've kind of talked about it today. It's like you look at rostership and you look at draft percentage when you're building your lineups. And this game, surprisingly, is lower than I think you and I both expected it to be, considering the game environment and the total we have on the board. I mean, we have one game over 50 on the main slate, and that's Tampa Bay, Indianapolis. And I think you and I both agree it's going to be chalky. So I think the direct pivot off that game would be Minnesota, San Francisco. At 49 currently, San Francisco giving 3 points at home. And I think that's the best game environment. And if it's not going to be a popular stack, I mean, that's where I'm looking. I think it's interesting. We just got a report from Adam Schefter, like right before we hopped on air, about Matt Stafford's arm, John.
Arm, back, and ankle.
He's literally
broken. Which is, are we surprised that Matthew Stafford is injured? right?
No.
This has been the story of his career. It's basically what's maybe prevented him from being an all-time guy.
Right.
You know, it's just the history of injuries. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you play for the Detroit Lions, and you don't have an offensive line for 2/3 of your career. But yeah, tough seeing them come out of the bye, no less, and then hear the word chronic pain.
Right.
Usually never a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking about like playing through injuries, like he played through a fractured back.
Right.
Like if that just like tells you what he went through in Detroit, I mean, playing through a fractured back is it. But I mean, that's obviously huge news going into today, considering the implications in that matchup going into Green Bay. Green Bay getting healthier. You know, Aaron Jones' status still in the air, but they're getting healthier. Yeah. Another week of Odell Beckham in town. Hopefully, you know, I think actually, John, it makes sense why Stafford's hurt. It's the curse of Odell Beckham, you know. Now suddenly Stafford's hurt coming out of a bye. I mean, it has to be Odell Beckham, right?
It certainly could be, and I wonder if Odell got and spoke to McVay on the phone, showed up at St. Louis, and he's like, or showed up to Los Angeles, like, all right, let's go, Rams time. And he walks in the locker room, and there's like Stafford on the medical table, like crutches. You know, he's like, what did I just sign up for? You know, like where's this offense going? So I agree with you. I also find it kind of curious. Again, you know, we're talking about highest game total on the board with Tampa Bay and Indianapolis, and we're looking at some of our roster percentages, and we're seeing, you know, some of these Tampa Bay guys at the top of that list. But Tampa Bay has struggled on the road this year. They're
right.
You know, they're 2-3 overall. They're 0-5 against the spread. At home this season in 5 games, Tom Brady has thrown 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. On the road in 5 games, he's thrown just 9 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. You know, if you're a believer in game theory or if you're a believer in what we've seen, they've lost two straight road games here. You know, those, you know, investing into Tampa Bay, do you think they're being set up for maybe some failure today? Or do you think it's Tom Brady, it's Tampa Bay, they have all those weapons, you know, it's just something, you look at the Colts secondary and think this is something that Brady should be able to pick apart? Like, how much of a believer are you in sort of the things that have been happening with Tampa Bay this year on the road?
I mean, we thought that same thing against Washington, and then we didn't, right? And then they lost in Washington. He never got the ball back after that fantastic drive.
And it drive.
Yeah, after that, right. And at that time, they had built a little momentum. Brady threw a long touchdown to Evans, and then like suddenly you're like, okay, things are gonna go, you know, get back on track. Well, you mentioned how good he's been at home. 30 fantasy points per game, 21 on the road. I mean, look, nothing to scoff at 21, but if you're playing, you know, DFS and you're spending 7,600, you probably want more than 21 fantasy points. Right. I think we could be falling into a trap. I like the weapons for Brady. You know, obviously all the receiving core, it's an elite matchup for, you know, Indianapolis is a bottom 4 team against tight ends. They've allowed the 3rd most receptions and yards to receivers. So like everything points to being a good game, but it is something, John, like he's just not playing well on the road. Now, we have seen him in the years past, you know, look pretty good. He is in a dome, I guess, would be the one thing I think we could point to and say, okay, you know, he's not outdoors. There's not going to be cold weather. So he has that going for him. I'm a little worried here about the 52.5. I know, you know, looking over at DraftKings Sportsbook, it's actually the over is actually the favorite right now. Yeah. I don't know. I may lay some action on the under though. I think the under's speaking to me here.
I think what's interesting about this one, and again, is sort of the idea. You know, last week, you know, the guy who broke the slate was Jonathan Taylor. You know, but he's only 3% rostered. He had 5 total touchdowns. They were in Buffalo. You know, Buffalo had one of the top-rated defenses in football. They had a great run defense. But then you looked a little bit closer into the numbers, and you saw that, yeah, they had a good run defense against teams that didn't really run the football. Right. The one team that did run the football, Derrick Henry ran all over them, and then Jonathan Taylor kind of goes and explodes. Similar situation here now. You have Tampa Bay, who struggles on the road. Antonio Gibson had 2 rushing touchdowns against them now, only 2.9 yards per carry. But Jonathan Taylor is clearly leagues above what Antonio Gibson is capable of doing. You talk about maybe the under, the Colts' best offense here may be to play defense on offense and run the ball, control the clock, keep Tom Brady and them off the field. Right now, Jonathan Taylor is the top price running back over on DraftKings. Do you think that he is going to be another contrarian winner today in your lineups, or are you worried about just how good Tampa Bay's run defense truly is?
I mean, I'm definitely worried. And if the Tampa offense does show up, I mean, we've seen it numerous times. Jonathan Taylor has been more involved in the passing game lately. Just 2 games ago, he had 8 targets against Jacksonville. But we've seen a handful of times if they are playing from behind, Nyheim Hines in 2-minute drills, Nyheim Hines and clear passing downs is on the field. So I'm not going to tell you to fade Jonathan Taylor because that'd be stupid. But I do think there are a lot of other options on the slate you can look at and point to where you don't need to force him into your lineup. Now, if you're playing like a Tampa Bay, if you're game stacking, you're going to play Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think he is a must. I also thought that against Buffalo. So what do I really know? But I don't think he's a must this week. He's obviously proven himself to be the number 1 running back in fantasy, but I don't think he's a must in week 12.
Yep, I'm with you there. And James, before we start jumping into the live stream QA channel, answering everybody's start sit questions for the week live here on the stream. Again, go into the premium Discord. If you're a Fantasy Lineup subscriber, enter the NFL channel, enter the live stream QA channel, and start putting in your start sit questions there now. If you aren't yet a member of FA Nation, we still have our Black Friday sale going on right now. There's literally no better deal that you can take advantage of as part of the way to join the family here. It is 25% off our annual package. You get access to more than 12 sports. Literally, you have the core 4, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, but you also get our college football and college basketball content. We had a GPP winner last night in college football. You can check that out in our Discord as well. We have NASCAR DFS, led by 2-time Racing Writer of the Year, Matt Sells, today's producer. PGA, the PGA core season is starting to start swinging around here soon. That's going to kick into gear, major season there. MMA is always going on with Mike Alexander. We got soccer. We got a great esports team. If you never tried League of Legends or CSGO, those guys kill it. Ed Can, Tony Lavender, they absolutely go out there and just destroy WNBA, EPL, like everything that you can imagine. We have DFS coverage for, and you can get it all. No payments till 2023. Sorry, 1 payment until 2023. You don't have to pay again until January then. So go ahead, check it out now. FantasyLineup.com/Black Friday. Get part of the family here. There's no better time to start winning, James, is what I've been saying.
Yeah, and I'm doing the math right now. 2023, that's 1 full year away. So 1 payment for 1 entire year.
Plus a month.
Plus a month.
Plus a month.
Right. A little cherry on top. So yeah, I mean, get in and win, right? I mean, as punny as that was.
Put it on a t-shirt, Fantasy Alarm t-shirt, get in and win, right? That's could be a couple different ways to take that, but that's fine. Let's jump into it here, James, and go into the live stream QA channel over at Fantasy Alarm here, and I'll let you lead the questions today, and I'll go ahead and give the answers here.
All right, we're gonna head over to the Fantasy Alarm Discord to start us off. John, we had some early risers this morning. They had their coffee. They went on a run. 7:30 in the morning was our first message here in the QA live stream from Nixie21. Good morning, Nixie. Dan, need to sit 1, John. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dan Arnold, Rashad Bateman, Hollywood Brown, or MVS?
Probably gonna sit Bateman here because I want to play Brown, and playing both I feel like at times probably is not as strong of a play. So I would also say that you have the benefit of waiting out that game too. I think Hollywood Brown is questionable but expected to play. So I mean, if one sits, you play the other. So that's the direction I would go. I would go there. I would play MVS if you're thinking Jalen Ramsey is probably going to be on Davante Adams today. I know Ramsey hasn't shadowed many this season, but he shadows the top guys. He's not going to get on the field and not play Davante Adams. So this could definitely be an MVS day. So I'm not expecting 0 targets out of Dan Arnold again. That's sort of an anomaly. It's a good matchup for him against Atlanta. So that's the direction that I'm going there.
It's actually a two-parter. Would you start the person that you set, so Rashad Bateman, over Alex Collins or DJ Dallas?
No, I would rather play Collins. I'm not playing DJ Dallas.
Yeah, I agree.
He got a lucky touchdown last week, but that's not something I'm expecting to continue there. So, plus I don't really want to play the running game against Washington anyways. So, no, I would stick with the 3 receivers in the tight end: Arnold, Hollywood Brown, MVS.
Okay, Rowdy has 2 questions here, John.
Morning, Ann.
Good morning, and need to sit one in PPR between DJ Moore, Devonta Smith, Damian Harris. So that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because we saw last week the Patriots split the carries with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. And yes, it was a blowout, and that could have certainly had something to do with it. But Harris was also questionable all week with a neck injury. And I wonder if this ends up being another game where we're expecting it to be a blowout. I mean, Tennessee's going into New England with nobody. No A.J. Brown, no Julio Jones, no Derrick Henry against the top-rated defense. The Patriots' defense has allowed 1 total touchdown over the last 3 games. They haven't allowed a point in 7 quarters. So, I mean, it's hard for me to think that they're not going to be running the football here. And if Harris is a little bit banged up, Stevenson could be getting a lot of that work. So give me DJ Moore, give me Devonta Smith.
And then the second question from Ann is need 2 of these 4, John. DJ Moore, we're starting DJ Moore. So 1 between T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Rashad Bateman.
I'm going to go T. Higgins here. Steelers' pass defense ranks 26th in DVOA. I know Jamar Chase is certainly the top dog there, but I think this is going to be a game where Cincinnati is going to kind of bounce back. They've back-to-back bad games for that passing offense, but they're home. It's a good matchup. It's a divisional game. I'm thinking Higgins has a good bounce back spot here.
John, I think this is important before we set the stage. I want to set the stage for this next question because it includes a Denver running back. What did you make of, prior to the bye week, Javonte Williams out-snapping Melvin Gordon for the first time? Do you think it had to do with the blowout, or do you think that there was a changing of the guard and we're going to see that moving forward?
I mean, I think it's certainly – so this is what I had projected kind of all along, but Denver surprisingly hung around and been competitive. That once the second half of the year came, that we would start seeing more Javonte Williams than Melvin Gordon. Denver wins football games now, so Melvin Gordon is still very much part of the offense. I think it was more game script than it was anything else. I would expect another near split, but I mean, Melvin Gordon for the most part has been playing almost 60-40 over Javonte Williams, and it's a great spot for the running backs this week. I guess my one question is, if the Chargers go up big, where is Javonte Williams going to be on the field enough? Because Melvin Gordon has been getting a lot of that third down passing work. So in this case, I'm probably going to go Devonta Smith against the Eagles, against the Giants. Bradbury is going to be the guy that's going to likely be on coverage there, but it's still the spot I'm more comfortable going in, I think. Okay.
Next question is from probably a top 5 name in this Discord. Big Daddy Lewis 69. Nice. Yeah. For his flex spot, half-point PPR, we need 1, John. Mike Williams, Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, shout out Tevin Coleman, or Alex Collins.
Yeah. What's weird about this one, and I've actually seen a lot of people being like, oh, Ty Johnson's season with Michael Carter down. If nobody looked last week, Michael Carter went down. Ty Johnson had 1 carry. He had one target. It was Tevin Coleman got the work. I don't want anything to do with the Jets running attack, even though it's against Houston. Don't really want Alex Collins here either. Mike Williams has been a disappointment since basically week 4, but last week he finally got behind the defense for a 50-yard touchdown.
Right.
They're favorites in Denver. The ball travels a little bit better in the air in Denver, so maybe Herbert can loft it up there a little bit further downfield for Williams, get behind the secondary. So I'm going to go ahead and bite in on some Mike Williams today.
It was something interesting Andrew Cooper said in his Coop Scoop series a couple weeks ago that the correlation between Williams' production and his decline was that Justin Herbert was getting the ball out faster. And obviously, if he's getting the ball out faster, not letting Mike Williams develop down the field, and we've seen 4 straight weeks of double-digit targets for Keenan Allen. So interesting, little nugget there from Coop, and it's really played true because outside of that one big game for Williams, or one big gain last week for Williams, you're spot on there. Question from Lebo, or 2 questions from Lebo. We got two-parters here, John. First question: PPR need a flex. Cortland Sutton, Kenny Golladay, Jeff Wilson, if Elijah Mitchell, who is expected to play, sits. That's question 1. So Sutton, Golladay, or Jeff Wilson if there's no Elijah Mitchell.
That's a tough one. I don't think I want to go Golladay here.
Isn't he the best option?
So I'm going to go Sutton. And if Mitchell does sit, you can play Wilson. But I don't know. You're the Giants fan. Kenny Golladay, I said this to you on the pod, I think the other day, or I was talking about it on the podcast with somebody. Kenny Golladay the other day caught a football out of bounds last week. He ran a route. He turned around. Everybody thought it was a first down catch. No, he literally ran the route out of bounds, turned around, made the catch with his feet on the sideline. Like, he's disengaged. He was unmotivated. He talked about it this week. Maybe the change in offensive coordinator will spark things, but I don't think he's happy with what's going on, obviously, in New York. So while I understand the mess that is Denver and everything, they just, I think Sutton may be the safest play of the group. So that's where I'm going.
I will say I've been a proponent of the fade Cortland Sutton train, since seeing Jerry Jeudy come back, because Cortland Sutton hasn't had more than 4 targets in any game. So a little worrisome. I agree. It's not a great situation to be in. I'll split the difference and I'll go Golladay just because necessity. Barkley's not healthy, even though he's expected to play. And you already mentioned Kadarius Toney and no Sterling Shepard. So I'll go Golladay. But I think we both are in agreement. If Mitchell does sit, it's Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's probably the play of the two.
Yeah.
Second question, I think we're both going to agree here, John. I think this is an interesting one. Houston or the Rams defense? Rams, obviously, going to Green Bay with a banged-up quarterback. Houston at home against the Jets. Which defense do you prefer here, John?
Yeah, as weird as it does sound, I think we're both playing the Houston Texans.
Yep, we are.
The Rams, obviously, they have key players on that defense. They got Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey. But they're on the road. They've lost 2 straight games, and you're going up against Aaron Rodgers coming off a monster game. You got Davante Adams to deal with. You have the running backs, whether it's either both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon or just A.J. Dillon. We talked about MVS having a good game last week as well. It's just comparing the two. What offense would you rather face, the Jets or the Packers? I'd rather face the Jets with Zach Wilson coming off IR, missing Michael Carter. I know Elijah Moore has been fantastic, but Wilson and him weren't connecting earlier this year, and Wilson was throwing interceptions left and right, getting sacked all the time. So, yeah, as wild as it sounds, I think we're going to go Houston this week.
I mean, you touched on it. Interceptions, right? Houston defense, John, 6 picks the last 2 games. Yeah. So they're going to be the chalk, probably defense. Them in New England, right? You think those two are probably the chalk defenses?
You're spending all the way down. You're spending all the way up. Honestly, it depends on who your quarterback is today. If you're using a value QB, you're probably playing New England. If you're spending up at quarterback, you're probably using Houston.
Well, I'm spending down and using Houston today, so but I generally agree. Johnny J, John, asking about your Patriots backfield. Who do we trust between Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson? PPR, by the way.
I mean, the PPR thing, they actually both are usable in the passing game. The Patriots throw to him every now and then. I mean, we just kind of talked about this one where Harris was questionable all week with a neck. They split the work last week in the blowout win over Atlanta. I'm probably going to lead Stevenson. Harris is going to start, but I'm going to trust that they're going to keep on splitting the work. And if Harris isn't 100% and they get up 2-3 scores, I don't see a reason that they're just going to run Harris if there's a risk of re-injury there. And it's worth noting, so Harris had a concussion the week prior,
right? And
then he's got a neck injury. Like, those are sort of connected, right? Like, head neck area. So They want him healthy for the season. If this one gets out of hand here, I think Stevenson is probably the way we're going.
Another nice question from Big Daddy Lewis 69. In his league, you get 1 point every 5 receptions. Need 1 wide receiver and 1 flex between. Are you ready for this? We need a pen here. Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Melvin Gordon, and Cordero Patterson. So I need 1 receiver, 1 flex.
So I mean, I'm definitely playing Cordero if he's active.
Yep.
He's just he's just been fantastic this season.
DJ Moore. It's probably DJ Moore here.
I mean, obviously, the secondary for Miami is supposed to be their strong suit. Does he get the Howard defense or does Robbie Anderson get the Howard defense, right? I might actually go Jalen Waddle here. If it's 1 point every 5 catches, which is a lot of catches, but if that's where I'm going, I mean, he and Tua have a good connection. So I may go Jalen Waddle on the opposite side of that matchup with Moore and go Cordero Patterson.
Okay. And then if Cordero doesn't play, just as a pivot for Big Daddy Lewis 69.
Probably Elijah Moore.
Okay. Elijah Moore it is. Question from Brunch, and this question is wild. If this question was asked like in week 5 or 6 and Cam was still on the team. Cam Newton or Russell Wilson, all touchdowns are 6 points, John.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cam Newton here.
Agreed.
Yeah, Russell Wilson has not looked good in the 2 games he's come back, and I know maybe it's excuse making for him, but the first game came back was that awful weather game in Green Bay where it was snowing and then it was cold and rainy, and then he came home, faced a top 5 defense in Arizona. It's a divisional game, didn't perform well there either. Now this is a road game, which also isn't great. But it's Washington's defense, so you're hopeful that there's a way for him to have success here. But Cam Newton doesn't need to throw the football to be effective. He had a 27-yard touchdown run last week. We know when they get in the red zone, he's lethal, especially with the healthy Christian McCaffrey. And James, this is what I talk a lot about with the perception of Cam Newton this year versus what we all saw him do last year. The Patriots sucked. Okay, okay. He was throwing to Damiere Byrd. He was throwing to Jacoby Myers.
Whoa. Don't be taking shots at Jacoby Myers here, John.
I love Jacoby Myers, but he's not like an explosive player, right? Like he's a good, solid possession receiver, but he's not threatening to a defense. Like Ryan Izzo was the tight end on that team. The running back, you had some Damian Harris, but you had Sony Michel. Like the team sucked. There was no threat to a defense on that offense once Julian Edelman died, basically, right? And so people look at that performance like, man, how did Cam Newton only do this? It's like, well, because the defenses only had to wait for Cam Newton. They didn't have to game plan for anybody. Defenses have to worry about Christian McCaffrey at all times. If he's in the passing game, RPOs, running game, like they have to focus on where CMC is. But then you're also adding in DJ Moore, who's a great wide receiver, and Robbie Anderson, which has talent. There's just more around Cam Newton to be successful here instead of having defenses just 8 in the box waiting for Cam to try to run himself or throw underneath. They can't really do that. So I'm actually bullish on Cam Newton here in his return to Carolina, and you should see why after the 2 weeks. Limited snaps in the first game, 2 touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns last week. I'm big on Cam Newton.
It must be nice to say your team sucks when you win 7 games and you go 7-9. Must be nice.
Cordero Patterson is officially active today.
Officially active. Okay, so who asked that question?
Big Daddy Lewis.
69. So we're starting Cordero Patterson and Jalen Waddle there. Another Russell Wilson question here, and I think this one's quite interesting, John. Russell Wilson or Taylor Heineke?
I'm gonna go with Heineke on that one.
Same.
We did have 2 other. We got some back-to-back here. Daddy Lewis and Brunch asked back-to-back questions, so we kind of missed.
The Jets question. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. We need a Jets running back. If you have to choose one, John, Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, who he really needs to win. Generally that's what happens. But Ty Johnson or Tevin Coleman. You already had Tevin Coleman, right?
Yeah. It's probably Tevin Coleman.
All my best ball shares are super happy about that one. Sorry, Brunch. I missed your question here. Sit one, please. Elijah Moore, Michael Pittman, James Robinson. Good problem to have there.
Listen. It is hard to want to suggest sitting Elijah Moore after how he's played, but Zach Wilson was very bad.
Yep.
I don't want to. I trust Pittman and Wentz and their connection. I definitely trust James Robinson against Atlanta. It's a tough sit, but I think we're sitting more here. Wilson was on pace to lead the league in interceptions, right, and I think lead the league in times being sacked. I know I can't go there. I can't go there.
Yeah, the rapport he's built has not been with the rapport being Elijah Moore. Has not been with Zach Wilson.
It was with White and it was with Flacco. So, you know.
Agreed. IDP question here, John.
Yeah.
Jayon Brown or CJ Mosley. We're looking for injury information. So Red Sticks, we're gonna have to circle back for our inactives here. But thoughts on Tyus Bowser here? Tyus Bowser.
I mean, I'll be truthful, James. I am not an IDP player, but it doesn't mean I can't do a quick Google search and let me see what I'm thinking of here. Baltimore Ravens linebacker. I like linebackers for Baltimore. They're playing a run-heavy team in Cleveland as well.
4.5 sacks this year for Tyus Bowser.
I honestly, I would be fine with that ad. Again, we're looking at a team with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They're going to try to run the football a lot. I mean, there's a good opportunity for him to rack up tackles. So yeah, I would be okay with Bowser if you're looking for a replacement. Mosley is also he's a linebacker for the Jets. He's questionable. I mean, he's another big tackle guy. I think obviously if he is active and we'll know before roster lock, you would play Mosley.
Yep.
And what was the other guy that we're looking at there?
Jayon Brown. Linebacker Jayon Brown.
Oh, Titans linebacker, huh?
I think Mosley's the play if he's healthy.
Yeah, Mosley is 100% the play if he's healthy. But I mean, Brown is interesting again. If we're thinking that they're going to just run the football a lot, right? I imagine IDP leagues are getting points for tackles. So I mean, he's had double-digit tackles in 2 of the last 3 games. So but I don't think he's going to sack anybody, right? Like he's not. I don't see him getting interceptions. Like there's probably more likelihood for Mosley to get a turnover versus Tyrod Taylor than we'll see out of Brown getting a turnover from Mac Jones here.
Agreed. Final question, and we'll switch over to the DFS alarm Discord, John. This question coming in from Lebo, who heard our comments about Kenny Golladay and Courtland Sutton. Would you drop either of them for one Robbie Anderson?
Probably not.
I don't know. Anderson out-targeted DJ Moore last week. Only won by 1, but it's good to see that there's not a lack of targets with the shift at quarterback, Yeah. Listen, it's been one guy doesn't get targets when Jerry Jeudy's on the field, and one guy just doesn't care because he's making a lot of money.
I guess I understand the case for Sutton here. Like they just paid the guy. Right?
I know.
Like, well, he played 95% of the snaps.
I know.
Yeah, listen. Last week would have been a game flow for them to have to throw 2 when they lost 30-13, and they just had to. It's just Bridgewater, right? He's just so limiting. Yeah, I guess if you'd rather play Anderson over Sutton, or I would make that move. I would probably make that move.
No DFS questions here, John. Just seasonal. Just some seasonal.
Yeah, you know what? People are getting all their DFS questions answered in the NFL channel because Dan Malin's out there just banging them out.
Machine. I mean, probably a good guy to get the questions. I mean, he's going to win another couple $1,000.
There are few more successful players of all sports of DFS than Dan Malin. Dan Malin goes and plays everything and then cashes in everything, whether it's NASCAR, which he obviously covers for us here, But then you'll see him like winning hockey. You'll see him winning football, obviously, like everything. Dan Malin's just the absolute goated when it comes to
cash game guy too, John. Cash game
guy. I gave up on the cash game like a long time ago because like all the lineup trains were just so annoying to me that I was like, I'd rather just take my chances in a GPP instead of facing 45 guys with the same lineup and all the computer algorithms and stuff like that. But Malin's out there doing the Lord's work, and he's just absolutely crushing it. So we got some more questions though in the other live stream QA channel. So we'll swing back over there, and we got Garyon and we got Unbent Nat.
Yeah. So Garyon's question. It's a long one. Shout out Garyon. What's going on? Happy Sunday. We got PPR, John. Damian Harris, Laviska Shenault, Deonta Foreman, Ramondre Stevenson, or Tyler Johnson. But the caveat is Nick Westbrook-Akine, Robbie Anderson, and Russell Gage are available on waivers. Also, Marquise Brown is on Garyon's roster. I think this is like you play if I'm probably playing Marquise Brown like expected to play, but I mean I don't know if you have a different take on this. I know Laviska is going to be a very popular DFS play today. He is currently, I believe, I was just looking at the I think he's the cover boy of Howard. Yep, Laviska Shenault, cover boy of the example lineups this week, John. Yeah. How would you approach this this question and problem and situation that Garyon has going in here?
Yeah, I'd first tell him to drop Tyler Johnson.
Agreed.
And then add Robbie Anderson for sure. And then maybe even add Russell Gage. Tyler Johnson's now the fourth option in that offense,
right?
With Gronk back, so don't really need exposure to him there.
Fourth is putting it lightly because Leonard Fournette catches 6 passes out of the backfield every week.
True. Yeah, I guess we're gonna go Laviska here. It's Laviska or probably Stevenson for me. If you don't want to wait, I can't tell you to wait for Marquise Brown because you don't have anybody else to play if he doesn't play. So you're kind of in a jam there. So as rough as it is, you probably can't play him if you have nobody to replace him. So go Laviska or go Ramondre for me in that one, Garyon.
Yeah, I would go Laviska if there's not a Rashad Bateman for whatever reason sitting on your waiver wire.
Right. Or pick up Sammy Watkins with your extra spot. I imagine Sammy Watkins is probably available. Pick up Sammy Watkins carrying on it. If he's there, if Sammy Watkins is available, pick him up, and then you'll have an option for Marquise Brown as a pivot. I think, and Watkins last week actually made some catches, and Watkins was good earlier this year as well before he went with the predictable seasonal injury that he has. So do that. If Sammy Watkins is available, which you're typing right now, so you'll tell us in a moment, not available.
Oh,
I tried.
That was a good one. That was smart, John.
I thought there was a low chance that he was available. Okay, then you gotta kind of sit Hollywood, unfortunately, but you're gonna have to sit him and play Laviska Ramondre.
Some people get the seasonal flu, John, and then Sammy Watkins has the seasonal Watkins.
Yeah.
Unbent Nat 565. Shout out to you with the gun show. I'll give you a flex for that picture as well. He's actually flexing and asking a question about his flex. Believe it or not, half point PPR. Opponent had Dak and Jacobs go off, if that matters. Latavius Murray, Jarvis Landry, or Van Jefferson.
I mean, it matters in a sense that you're just letting us know that they had big production.
Pretty good day.
You need guys with high ceilings. My initial instincts here would have been Van Jefferson if we didn't find out that Stafford's basically in a body cast at the moment. I mean, truthfully, you probably still need to go Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray seemingly lost his job to Devonta Freeman last week. Freeman looked good. Murray did not. Jarvis Landry, he's a possession guy, and it's only a half-point PPR league. So what you need is Van Jefferson to get some big plays. He was targeted. It's like 6 or 7 times in like 4 or 5 straight games. Snap count has always been high, even with Robert Woods.
Right.
We're expecting this one to probably be a back and forth game here with Adams and with the Packers and Rams. So Van Jefferson is the guy I think that has the highest ceiling potential of that group.
Agreed. 50-yard, but he's the one of this three that's going for 50 yards, if anyone, on one big play. So
Jarvis Landry could go for 50 yards, but it's on a 2-yard screen, and he's taking it to the house.
Or it's him lining up as the quarterback and running it himself.
Right.
Because his quarterback's not the one.
The best quarterback in Cleveland is whatever guy isn't Baker Mayfield generally. So
shout out Kangas, man. Let's move on to our boy Bout. What's up, Bout? Happy Sunday. Happy week 12. Full point PPR need 2. Now that we know Cordarrelle Patterson's in. Joe Mixon. You're playing Joe Mixon. And then Cordarrelle Patterson. So it's Cordarrelle Patterson versus Elijah Mitchell for me.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, listen, when Elijah Mitchell was healthy and in the game, like they were just feeding him the football. Right. And you can run against Minnesota. The one thing is that, Cordarrelle Patterson against Jacksonville is also very, very enticing. Because he is used in a variety of manners. He's a running back and receiver. He's an explosive play. That's tough. I think I'm going to go Patterson. Here. Patterson and Mixon for me.
Do you want to run through? We can run through some inactives right here, John. We got some ins and outs. Just some names. Cordarrelle Patterson in, as we mentioned. Saquon Barkley officially Saquon Barkley, John.
Yeah.
Got it officially active. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson officially active. All your tight ends are active, so that means a Hunter Henry touchdown incoming.
Or Jonnu Smith revenge game.
And it doesn't matter. Hunter Henry's still going to catch the touchdowns. Interesting, Vita Vea, who was expected to play, is active, which, Jonathan Taylor, meet Vita Vea in the middle of that. Let's see. And Falcons, no one of no. I'm looking for the.
Corey Davis is inactive.
Corey Davis is inactive. Let's circle back to that IDP question, John. Who did we have? Is it the 4:00 window with these?
Yeah, well, Mosley's active, so you're
Mosley's active. Yeah, playing Mosley. Anyone?
And so was the linebacker for the Titans. They're all active, so there's no real decision. We don't have the Baltimore one obviously because that's later, but the Jets and Titans linebackers are active.
Marlon Mack, another inactive day. They should have traded him while they could. Kadarius Toney officially inactive. Jeremy McNichols inactive for Tennessee. John, how do you feel about the? I know it's okay. It's a tough question to answer because we like the Patriots defense so much. What do you make of the Tennessee offense? I guess what I'm asking is in seasonal and or DFS, would you consider anybody? I mean, they don't have anybody, right? They have Brown, Julio, Henry all out. Would anybody in this offense tickle your fancy? Like Dontrell Hilliard, who had 10 targets. Does he appeal to you? Is Donta Foreman appealing? Are you playing anybody in this Tennessee offense? I'm surprised we haven't had more Nick Akine questions. I'm surprised we haven't had more Hilliard or Foreman questions. But if you're in a pinch in seasonal, would any of them be flex appeal to you, or even in DFS if you're looking for a cheap play?
I mean, maybe one of the receivers. I mean, Westbrook Akine has gotten a lot of the volume, and I talked about it from a DFS dart throw perspective that Dez Fitzpatrick had the most routes run last week for that team of Chester Rogers, of Westbrook Akine. He was their 4th round pick this year, but they actually cut him. And then he cleared through waivers, and they put him on their practice squad, stayed on the practice squad till week 10. And then last week, he had his big game there, caught a touchdown pass. Again, the Patriots defense has allowed 1 touchdown in 3 games. They've allowed 13 total points in 3 games. They haven't allowed a point over the last 13 quarters. The last time a team scored on them was the first quarter of the Browns game, 7 quarters ago, not 13, 7 quarters ago. So we're not expecting a lot coming here, but if they're going to have to throw from behind, maybe Fitzpatrick is a dark throw play.
let's get back to the questions. About 14 minutes left, so make sure you guys get your questions. We're going back to Boutner. Herbert or Burrow?
Man, this is interesting. I really like Justin Herbert this week. Burrow has the better matchup if you're looking at DVOA. Pittsburgh again, 26th against the pass. And the receivers that you see that he has, whether it's Boyd or Higgins or Chase, like there's just so much potential for him. And that first game against Pittsburgh, you didn't even need to throw the football a lot. He was 14 of 18, and he had 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, this is a team you can throw against. That said, I'm probably going Herbert here. I think I'm probably going to go Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert coming off 3 touchdowns himself against Pittsburgh. So,
right.
Bout's just firing, right? He's firing on all cylinders right now. Half-point PPR, we're starting 2. 1, he's already starting Mixon. So, between Damian Harris, Myles Gaskin, and Tyler Johnson.
Is Lindsey active today? Do we know for them? They cut him off waivers. Do we know if he's playing?
He is. Let's see.
He's not Dolphins. On the inactives, but I don't know if he was signed off the practice squad or what the deal is with Philip Lindsey here.
I mean, I'm first in line in the Philip Lindsey. Excited to get Lindsey on board with Miami. That's what Brian Flores said yesterday.
Yeah, Philip Lindsey
unlikely to play.
What?
Unlikely to play. I see unlikely to play. Unless you're looking at something different.
As of 16 minutes ago, Miami Herald says Lindsey is available.
Okay, available. There you go. That was I was just reading an article, the latest thing I saw from yesterday. So I believe 16 minutes ago. I believe in science more than I believe in 1 day ago. So
this is another Fins.com columnist. Phil Lindsey is surprisingly active, expected to be limited given his knowledge of the playbook. So, I think Gaskin is probably okay then in this spot. He catches the football. He got the majority of the carries. I'd be willing to run some Gaskin here.
And then Bout's asking, need 2 flex Bateman, Elijah Moore, and then the remaining 2 running backs. So we're starting Mixon and Gaskin. So the question is, need 2 between Harris, Johnson, Moore, and Bateman.
Give me Bateman and Moore.
Yep, agreed. Ray Hunt. Shout out Ray Hunt. What's up? Full point.
If he knows Ray Kuhn.
Maybe. Do all the Rays do all the Rays know each other?
Never know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We'll put them all in a room and see if they
new Discord channel, Rays.
Making this channel right now, the Ray channel, the Ray live stream Q&A. Full point PPR, need 2, John. T. Higgins, Rashad Bateman, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. You have shout out both Denver running backs there, and Devonta Smith.
Give me Smith and Higgins here.
Smith and Higgins. Yeah, it's tough when you own both running backs from a backfield, and it feels really crappy when you pick the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is probably scoring today, but I don't know which one. So
it's probably the one they compared to Alvin Kamara coming out of the draft.
Potentially.
Brunch back on the board here. It's probably still technically brunch, 11:50. I'd eat lunch by now.
Yeah, you get brunch right now for sure.
I'm not a big John, thoughts on brunch before we answer this question. Thoughts what's your overall take on brunch? Not the great FA subscriber on our Discord, but brunch the meal. I guess the meal.
It's overpriced generally.
Could not agree more.
Generally, it's overpriced because you're not getting anything different. You get breakfast food. You get some lunch food. Maybe if you go to a place that has a carving station, I understand why it's. But in Boston, you go to brunch and it's $40, and you're like, what did I buy? What am I getting? The same hash browns and eggs and bacon, or the prime rib station maybe, or something like that, right? I don't know. Yeah, it seems overpriced to me.
Brunch on the Boston Harbor though is probably worth the price.
Yeah, if you go down to Seaport, you can go down to Seaport District. It's probably not bad, but. It's still not now. Look at both.
Brunches.
Look at both.
We got
Perfect.
brunch. This is wow. And look at the little mimosa in the back. We got the,
What do we got on that toast? That's what I want to know. I'm a big fan of the sausage patties and the eggs there. So good on you, man.
Yeah, what is on the toast? Definitely not butter. It looks kind of cheesy. Is it like a melted cheese we got there?
That could be melted cheese.
Is that melted cheese?
That could be melted cheese. That could be toasted cheese. That's like a Dan Malin thing, I think.
No. That's way too normal for Dan.
Marmalade. Look at this guy. He's breaking out marmalade. Wow. Dude, he is way fancier than I am.
Yeah. And that's like a home. Look at this home meal. Like, oh my gosh.
I have that tray table, by the way. So
Okay. Maybe it's a Boston thing. Is Bout from Boston? Like,
I think it's just a very popular style.
Yeah.
Go back to Brunch's question on Goddard and Pitts, though.
Brunch, the person, asked Dallas Goddard or Kyle Pitts.
I'm still playing Kyle Pitts. While Atlanta may be a team that has given up, they're playing Jacksonville, also a team that has maybe given up. So give me the upside play with Kyle Pitts. Plus, if you follow Andrew Cooper, the tight end whisperer here, he is his top tight end play of the week. So I give all tight end opinions from Coop. So
let's see.
Northern Maine.
Northern Maine. It is. So you guys are buying tables from the same place. I mean, it's just.
He probably went to like Costco, picked up that table. We're all brothers in arms here.
All right, John. We got some DFS questions. We got a couple. One's actually a seasonal question in the DFS live stream, but we got a DFS question, and it's from drumroll Brunch in the DFS world as well. So he sent us a lineup here. I'm going to read you the lineup. The lineup is as follows. Roethlisberger, this is over on Yahoo. Our partners at Yahoo have been tremendous. And everyone head over to yahoo.com and play over there and enjoy the overlay. Enjoy just everything that Yahoo has. It's similar to FanDuel, half points PPR. But the lineup for Brunch is as follows. Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette. He's going with the Deontay Johnson. So we're going with Pittsburgh's Cincy stack here. And then we're going a mini stack of Jefferson, Ayuk, Noah Fant at the tight end position, James Robinson, Philly defense. Now the question is swap out Ayuk. So it's Ayuk and Philly's defense, or Shenault and the Patriots defense is the question here. This is half point PPR is Yahoo scoring.
Here's the thing. If you're playing Shenault, you also have Robinson there.
Right.
And I guess it all depends on how much you believe. And they said they want Shenault to start getting carries because that's not good for Robinson's prospects.
Right.
But I really want the New England defense.
Right.
So I'm kind of hung up there a little bit. Let me get Yahoo open. I don't even drop Darrell Williams for Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, that's fine, Radical. I mean, you're just getting backup for backup there. CEH is back. Half PPR, Javonte, Elijah Moore, Devonta Smith. J-Had wants, what do you think there? J-Had wants to know. Javonte, Elijah Moore, Devonta. Well, I look up Yahoo right now. Needs two of them.
Half point PPR. Devonta Smith is going to see a lot of Bradbury. Elijah Moore, the report just wasn't there with Zach Wilson. I'm going to go Williams. Running back in half point PPR. And I'm going to go Devonta. Bradbury hasn't been the same guy as he was last year. I'm going to go Devonta Smith and Javonte Williams. Three good options, but I'll go Javonte and Devonta. Also, interesting note about Darrell Williams. More targets was in on a lot of passing downs for Kansas City. So
he was. That's true, and they use him in the red zone. So, Radical, I lied. Hopefully, he didn't make that move yet. Keep Darrell Williams. I think.
I think that move is more likely if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, right? Because you're a McCaffrey owner, and now you're handcuffing Shepard if you have, or with Chuba if you have the obviously you have the bench spot available because you're dropping a secondary guys. Yeah. But if you have McCaffrey, I lean Hubbard. But if not, I'm keeping Williams.
Would you make that swap, Ayuk, for?
No, we've talked about it. I like the Minnesota-San Francisco game. That's my favorite game on the board. Also, Ayuk scored in 2 of the last 3 games. Yeah. And in those half-point PPR formats, I mean, touchdowns are king. Like, you need touchdowns. You can't. It's not like DraftKings and full-point PPR formats where Keenan Allen can go 11 for 97 with no touchdowns, and you're fine. But if he goes 11 for 97, he's probably being outscored by a lot of the field in half-point PPR. So I like Ayuk because I think there's more touchdown upside than Shenault. I do agree the Patriots defense is appealing. You could also go, what's Houston, John? Do you have Yahoo open right now?
Yeah, I do. So Houston is actually priced at $14. So
I mean,
only $1 cheaper. I've been trying to figure out different ways to go about it too. I don't think there's an easy move there outside of the LaVisca Patriots swap. Listen, I think the Eagles are good. They've scored defensive touchdowns. We're not expecting a lot out of the Giants. Sorry, James. So
it's okay.
It's not bad. A couple more questions over back in the Fantasy Alarm channel before we wrap this up, James.
TCSCY Clowns, not going to try to pronounce that. Clowns says Standard League. I know your feelings in Standard. We don't need to go there. I also share the same feelings. It's
it's 2021.
It's really like we're a month away from 2022 too. Standard League. Noah Fant, Hunter Henry, right? Touchdown. I mean, and Miles Sanders or Elijah Mitchell.
Well, so the Chargers are terrible against the tight end. We talk about bad teams against the tight end position here, and the Chargers are one of the teams that are right up there. We talk about the Eagles, right? Eagles have allowed the most touchdowns. They're actually tied for the most touchdowns allowed to the tight end position with the Chargers. They have both allowed 9 receiving touchdowns to the tight end spot. Hunter Henry himself has 7 touchdown catches on the year. But he's not a volume guy, right? Yeah. And I think I'm probably going to go Fant in this one.
Okay.
And what was the other question?
Sanders, Elijah Mitchell. Mitchell for me. Okay. I do like 18 carries for Miles Sanders, or 16. Mostly he's had all year last week.
No, I love the volume. He didn't score. 3 rushing touchdowns by Jalen Hurts.
He's getting poached. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, John, the next question involves from our man Bout with the fancy breakfast, Jalen Hurts or Chef breakfast. Like, you're the chef, Bout. Russell Wilson is no chef right now. He's just
he's a fry cook right now.
He's a fry. He's burning whatever he's cooking. He's burning.
He's the guy you yell drop fries in the kitchen. That's all he's doing.
We're going Jalen Hurts here, right?
We're going Jalen Hurts here, yeah.
Navy Jim also, and we can wrap it up here, John. I think perfect time to wrap it up with Navy Jim. Standard doesn't matter because it's a quarterback question. Cam Newton or Matthew Stafford.
It's weird to say that we're going to get Cam given the way Stafford started the year, but I'm a little shook off the reports, and maybe it's an overreaction, but you look at his play lately, it hasn't been good, and then we come out that he's dealing with chronic issues in his foot, his arm, and his back, and maybe it explains.
He's broken.
He's broken. Explains the problem. So give me Cam Newton down in Miami. I think he's just as likely to run for touchdowns, which are worth 6 points, than throw for touchdowns, which are worth 4. So,
well, 12 o'clock, John. We made it.
We have 1 hour left. We'll be in the Discord answering your questions. Obviously, you can get us on Twitter still as well. All the content is out for the day. Example lineups, playbook, all the coaches, my contrarian corner videos out there. Tara's bargains video is out there. Adam Ronas for his Yahoo value plays. James with his value play article for Yahoo's there as well. So, guys, good luck. Catch us where you need to for your answers leading into roster lock today. We'll be available to help you guys win.